Over there!
We can't let him get away!
Too late, fool! You will not escape! Us? What in the name of... Gary?
I'm sorry, okay? I hadn't prepped this part of the dungeon yet. I haven't had the time.
But you don't suffer from this, do you? For more than 2 years, you've helped us to enhance our tools, grow our map libraries, and given us a warm welcome in the community of map makers and game masters. We are honored to be part of this community, and all we can say is thank you.
Bring it on.
Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of our weekly DGNFOG community stream. My name is Till. I'm the founder of DGNFOG and I'm here to tell you all about the news that of the new patch that we had today, which is version 5.6.0, and it's the room templates and color grading, color filters, and so much more. There's so many new things in this patch. So yeah, welcome everyone. And just before we get started, as always, if you have a question, post it in the chat. If you can set a little question in caps in front of it, it makes my life much easier to find it. And on a second announcement, tomorrow our Master of the Tools contest is going to end. So tomorrow at, I believe, 7 p.m. UTC, we are going to close our Master of the Tools contest. So if you still want to submit, we have a lot of submissions. I'm really impressed by how many people have submitted. If you still want to submit, make sure that you finish your map and submit it through the submission form that you can find on the DGNFOG website. In the news section, the Master of the Tools contest, there you find everything you need. And now let's just jump into the update, because the funny story about this is a relief update for me, because the things that we've pushed to DGNFOG in this update, we have planned them for ages. I remember in the Kickstarter campaign of the DGNFOG Kickstarter, and then afterwards we've been talking about all those things that we want to include. And with all the amazing feedback we got from you, we were like, okay, we need to do this first, and then we need to do that first. And it always got like, we just need to do this, then we can edit. And now we're finally there. And I'm so happy. I'm so proud. The thing is, one of those updates was even a surprise for me, because Andy, our core developer, sneaked that in while he had a little bit of free time working on the DGNFOG updates. And so when I saw the patch notes, when I was testing them on the test server, I was like, what is that? And then I realized, oh my god, we have that now. What am I talking about? Okay, so today we have, let me just quickly switch to here. Today we have released patch version 5.6, and this includes, let's just go here quickly. This includes some really cool new features, one of which is the room template feature. And we're going to look at that in a minute. I will just briefly describe what it means. When you create a room, when you create a room group, you can now select that and make it a template. This template is saved to your account, which means it's not only available on this current map that you're working on, it is available on any map that you're creating. So you can easily go, and if you have a room that you really like, that you're using often, or that is quite tedious to create, and you feel like, oh no, I have to do another one of those rooms. Once you have one, you save it. It contains all the props, all the brushes, all the shapes. All objects that you save in that room are stored within that in the template. And once you bring it back to your map, so once you place it, it stays editable. So this is our first iteration. This is the first step that we want to go there. And let me tell you, there are a few ideas already flying around what we can do with that in the future. And sorry, do you have audio problems? Do I have audio problems? Someone is mentioning that I have audio problems. Can you still hear me? Audio is fine. Okay, perfect. So this is the room template, and we will look at that in a minute, because Andy sneakily added something that I was looking forward for so long, and that is the map color filters. Now you can add, like an Instagram filter, you can add color filters on top of your map, and it affects the whole map and all levels below. So you can now, in an instant, create a black and white version, or create a night version, or create something really fancy, because we have added a ton of filters in there. So go explore them. We will have a look at them in a minute. There's the patch notes. It's posted in the Twitch chat. I'm pretty sure someone can also post it in the YouTube chat. Thank you very much. And let's just continue through the rest of it. We have revised our new map overlay. This is an experiment, so we are very excited to hear your feedback on that. Do you like it better? Do you not like it better than the previous one? So we can see if we can improve here. The main idea was to reduce the amount of input that you have to do to create a new map. So basically, our goal was bring you faster to the map making process. We will have a look at that as well. And then there is a giant list of patch notes. And there are some really sweet new features in there. And before I kind of force you to read that on screen, which is completely useless through streaming, let's just jump into it and let's test some of those features. So I will go to my dashboard, and let's look at the color options first, because I think we can tackle that quickly, and then let's play around a little bit with the room templates. Okay, let's bring up the jungle encounter map that I was using for one of my office games here. So this is the map. There's nothing new to it as it was before. But when you look into your stage options, you will see that there are now two new things. First of all, I'm not going to click that. Clear stage will remove every prop, brush, shape, every object that is placed on stage, apart from rooms, I believe, will be removed. So if you feel like, I really like the room layout here, but the stage needs to be different, you don't have to select every object and delete it. You just press clear stage, whoop, everything is gone. Yep, thank you very much. There you go, it's gone. So that's the clear stage button. And the second new thing is you have now map color options here. The map color options without any color grading active still allow you to work a little bit on the contrast. Let me see if you can see that. Yes, I believe you can. So I can work on the contrast. I could do something like this. I can turn up the contrast quite drastically. So I can kind of do minor adjustments for the final touch of the map just by working with contrast and brightness. And I can always reset the color settings there. So this is just working with contrast and brightness. But now if I turn on color grading, I have now a giant list of options here. And we will work through some of them. So as you can see, if I collapse all of that, as you can see, whoop, need to collapse even more. Now we're done. There's a giant list of filters that you can apply to your map. There are some really cool filters, there are some really weird filters, but who am I to judge what you want to do with your maps? So go experiment, play around with them. You have a search, so if I want to go for black and white, for example, I can go in there and I can say, okay, I want the high contrast, there is a digital contrast, contrast old, or contrast low contrast old, or black and white simple. Now the cool thing is, whatever you apply, you now have even more options to work with them. So if I now ramp up the contrast and ramp up the brightness, I basically have a black and white map here. I can work with the blending to see how much this effect, this filter, is blending onto that map. So for this map, probably I would reduce the brightness a little bit. Do I want to reduce the contrast? I don't think so. No, that's too much. Let's do it a little bit like that. So now I have a black and white version of the map, and the important part is if you have a multi-layer map, the effect that you're applying to the top layer, given that you have probably transparent stages that look onto the layers below, the levels below, what you apply to the top level, this filter will auto-apply to all levels below. So you can easily create a black and white version of your map, or let's try something different. You've seen it before. There are several night options here, so we could do corrupted night. And now we need to work with the contrast a little bit and the brightness. So now we've turned this map into a night version of the map. Again, I can work with the blending to just add a touch of that. Let's reset the color settings here. So if I find a good filter for night, can I save it for other maps? You mean if you find a nice filter here to save it for other maps? Well, there is no favorite system in there, but we've already talked about that. So you could say, okay, I want to add this filter to my favorites. But the filters you have there, you can use for all your maps. Let's look at the weird ones. Stylized 90s action New York. Well, okay, this is just Alien. Ooh, nice one. Cold isolation. Well, that is very cold. Color shift. Okay, interesting. Feywild. Instant Feywild effect. Corrupted purple. So it's amazing. There are a lot of things in there. I feel like there were even funnier things under the retro, probably. Black and white comic book. Well, that is interesting. I think if we can we do anything with that? No, not really. I feel like this is a lot of like AD&D style. But I like it. Not sure if I'm ever going to use it, but still, I like it a lot. Game Bob. So we're now playing on the Game Boy here. I feel like there was a nice one for Cyberpunk, but I can't remember. Posterize. No, that wasn't that. Wasn't probably it was something under popular looks. What's in there? Well, that could be a nice cyberpunk effect if you think of something like. No, I remember where it was. Final fight. That sounds interesting. Flower power doesn't sound that interesting. Underwater, also cool. So there are some, again, even I haven't had the time to experiment with all of this. You think in the base folder, Lars says in the base folder is an effect. Let's see. Green tint, was it that one? Yes, I think it was that one. That is like a night vision effect if you're having something like this on a Shadowrun map. Invert, Jesus Christ. Warm purple. Nope, that isn't. Well, that's a nice one for a sunset, for example. Yeah, look, guys, it's online. Just go there, play around with it. I'm pretty sure you can find amazing things there. And let us know what you think about that. Also, let us know what your favorite filters are. And what you would like to see in our filters tool, because this is going to be I think something that we will work on over the next couple of months by just adding filters, improving them, probably adding a favorite system, things like that. Right, let's keep this here. So where do you find that? If you go to your stage selection, the easiest way to reach your stage selection is press escape until you have nothing selected, then the stage is automatically selected. And you have the map color options that you can activate or deactivate, and you can always reset your color options if you're unhappy with that. So there you go. This is the color filters. Now let's just test the clear stage button. If I press clear stage, well, there you go. It has cleared the whole stage. Can I undo that? I can. Amazing. Good job. So yeah, this is the clear stage button. On a slight note here, we've also implemented this little bug report button up there. So now you can report problems with your map directly inside the editor, instead of leaving, going back to your dashboard or going back to your My Map section and click on report a bug outside the editor. Excuse me. If you're running into a problem, if you're running into a bug, a glitch, something that you would like to tell us, you can now use the report the problem directly from within the editor, and you are also submitting us automatically all the necessary information that we need to know to make sure that we can find the problem and hopefully put it on the next bug tracker, on the next patch, and make sure that this bug is squashed. Squashed. Right, this is report a problem. What else do we have? Well, the rest of it we're going to tackle on the next map, because now we're going to look on to the room templates. So I think last week, time's flying for me, I can't remember. I think last week I was on Orkenspalter TV, a German role-playing channel run by Mayri Stritter, which for those of you who speak German, I can only highly recommend. And we were building a map for an adventure that Orkenspalter TV and DGNFOG are going to produce together. And I was doing a map there, and this is the map. I apologize, it's in German because we're doing this on a German channel. But this is basically, this is the map. Scale to fit. Let's look at the full map. So this is the map that we have been creating. It's a crypt. And in this crypt, there are sleeping chambers and stuff like that. So the thing is, for the adventure that we're writing, I not only need this as an overview, but I also need this to do specific battle maps. So for example, this area here should become a battle map. So what I want to do is, I want to I don't want to recreate that on a separate map. I just want to use the same room template on a separate map and then start working on it. What I can do is when you select a room, you could create a room template out of this. Now this is just a square room, so this is a rather boring one. But the important part is you can do the same thing with room groups. So what I'm going to do is I will rooms, there I wanted to go. Those are all the rooms I have. So now I'm going to create a room group and I'm calling this my battle map area. Okay, I should have named them. That would have made my life easier. Apsis, there you go. And then we have this one, which is the Ruhekammer rest chamber. And I also want to add those little things. So those are just hallways. Let's just, now we're suddenly in English. I have that one, which is the German word for passage. Okay, and we also want the Statue, which means this is our horse statue room here. Okay, so now I'm going to put all of them into one map folder. Let me just see. Yes, all of them are in there. And here you can see I can now create a room template. And this template will be created with all the rooms in there. And if I would have had any assets, props, brushes, shapes, whatever in there, then they would be added as well. So we're going to see that the text and the shapes that are in there, they will stay part of the template. So let's create a room template here. When I click that, the name is basically derived from the template, from the room group that I've created. And now I can create a category. I think I already have one. I have an org category. I will make this my crypt category and I can add text there. So I will do Orkenspalter because then I can remember and I can search for that. And let's name this, let's give it another one. I don't really know how to tag that at the moment, but let's do this as okay, done. Create. Now he's saving the whole thing, and now we're done. So when I go into my room tool, I will now see that there is a new section called Add from Template. And here I will see all the templates that I have already created. And as you can see, the org hut is a template from a different map, but it's still proposed here for me. I also have those categories that I can collapse and expand, or I could go in there and rename it. So what I could do is I could do another one where I could say, okay, now that I have just this area, I could go in and say, okay, this one, do I want to add the, probably I want to make the whole area. So I'm going back to my rooms. I'm creating a new one. This new group is called entrance area. Yeah, well, whatever. And let's put those maps, rooms, sorry. Yep, the secret doorway to the toilet also needs to be in there as well. So this one. So basically everything except the entrance room. Yep. Okay, if I select that, now I have everything here, and I can do the same thing. Create template, name entrance, category. I want this to be part of the crypt category. Perfect. And this is going to get Orkenspalter and Tomb, I think, were the two things that I added here. Create, saving, perfect. I can still go on and I could go in and just select a single room. Say, no, this single room needs to be a template as well. So I can create a room template for that one. And that is going to be called preparation room. Category is going to be crypt as well. And, well, let's stay thorough. Create. Okay. So now I have all those templates ready, and as you can see, they're all listed here. I can go in and I can edit the details. I can delete a template. Perfectly fine. So the interesting part now is that if I leave that map, wait, I think I did a good job here. I want to save the grouping. If I leave the map and I'm creating a new map, thank you for the follow. And here we can quickly see the new interface for creating new maps. So as you can see, it is a lot slimmer than before and a lot more reduced. So here I could say crypt combat. Mixing English and German will confuse the hell out of me. If I click on show more, I can add all the other stuff. I can do the map description, the keywords, the grid style, the distance units. So we're not taking away any of that. We just learned from the data that we were looking at that not many people really use them. There are a few who are using them, but it is a highly unused area. So we said, okay, if no one's really going to use it, why do we need to throw that in your face? So we hide it behind the show more option. But we are giving you a much better way to pick from specific default settings. So you could go default small, medium, large. VTT is also a medium setting, but we said, okay, for VTTs, you might want to be in the 25 by 25 area. So let's say I'm going to make this a VTT setting. My grid size is 70 pixels per grid, which is fine for VTTs. And my map size is 25 by 25. Amazing. So let's open the editor. Good morning, Trash Loot. Save and continue. So now if I go into my, okay, let's scale to fit. So now if I go into my, sorry, my rooms, I wanted to go here. There you go. I have the whole room template ready. And just think about what that would mean if that room would have already been filled. So I can go and place it. And as you can see, it has all the information necessary. And now I can go in and adjust it. And I can go in and I can work with all those room templates, with all the room settings. I can now start and say, okay, for this one, it shouldn't be black and white. So I will go into my floor settings and undo that. I will go into my, let's make this just a normal room, but the wall should be a texture, blah, 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 dark stone bricks, perfect. Probably a little bit thicker. Sorry, this needs to be 8 and 8. Amazing. And now I can just pick those settings and apply them to all the rest. And we already have, out of the previous map, I have already done the groundworks to now start and create a battle map on this detailed area. There are some other things in there that are quite interesting that have come through the new update, because if you again, I could clear the room group, which removes everything in there. Amazing, thank you. You now have the option to flip your rooms. So I can go in. Exactly, so the idea is I have the big map. For example, the previous map that you've seen, I have that as my preview, or just for me as a GM to get the general layout. And then I can take parts of that and push them to a separate map where I'm going to lay out the details. Because from my experience, it can be quite tedious to map out a full map with all the beauty and the detail. So many GMs tend to create just the combat areas, for example, and say, okay, I have a giant dungeon. I want the layout of the dungeon, but only the boss battle needs to be mapped specifically. And that's now pretty easy to do. So I can flip the whole thing. I can flip it vertically, which is not going to do a lot here, and then horizontally. I can go in there and I can rotate. Oh, what am I? Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Someone just posted something in chat and I was like, wait, am I chatting? So I can rotate the whole thing. And I think that this is like, sorry, I wanted to delete the whole group. Room. So I could go in there and say, okay, I need a room here. Rotate 90 degrees. And now I need the same room, duplicate here, but I want it to be flipped. And now I just need to align this to the grid. Let's quickly paste the new settings, and now let's connect them. So I think in terms of, and as always, that is what DGNFOG tries to do. It tries to be a fast map making tool where you can quickly create maps, because if you are only a little bit like me, then you start your prep time not soon enough, and you will suddenly realize that you need another map, and you would love to do that, but you're running out of time. So this is, I think, another cool feature that helps you to quickly build maps. And as I said before, this is the first iteration. So we are now going to, based on what you give us as feedback and what you tell us, we are going to enhance all of that and make, for example, one of the things that we know that we want to do is we want to make room templates shareable through the public library. Or another thing that I would love to see is, now that we can do those room templates, I would love to make the same thing with prop groups, where you could group props and create a prop group template out of that. Yeah, Blue Sky just says prep time, you mean the day before the session. I think then you're already pretty good with your schedule, because I remember last week when I had my office game, it was 2 hours before the session, and I was like, oh no, I need more maps, and I was quickly doing stuff. But again, it wasn't that bad, because I was using the map template, like the full map template tool, where I created one map, set it as a template, and then I created some random encounters just based on that. I wish I had the room template feature back then, because that would have then even speed up my process even more. Yeah, I think as I'm reading the chat, for example, another thing I already know what I'm going to do soon is until we have, and again, keep in mind it's on our roadmap and it's going to be there this year. It's the second item on your wish list from the polling that we did is the advanced room templates. But given that we are now already we're almost through, tomorrow we're through quarter one, And the next thing we're going to tackle are GM nodes. They need to have a rework, so this is on our list for April. And then there is going to be the walls and paths tool. And then finally, we will be able to tackle the new advanced rooms tool. So there's still a little bit of time until then. So what I'm going to do until then is I'm going to do this. I'm going to create my circular room. And from now on, I will never ever have to do that again because I'm creating a room temple now. And this is circular room. And the category will be base shapes. And the tag will be shapes. And probably round. There you go, create. So from now on, I will never ever have to do round rooms again, because the next time I need a round room, I will go scale it up if I need it bigger, scale it down if I need it smaller, and I will be like, okay, here you go, Mickey Mouse. Okay, I have a question here. The Dungeon Tomb says, in your very first preview video of the Kickstarter, you showed that make like a room, it will add a text by itself. Yes, this is already in there. When you're creating a room and you're giving it a label, for example, let's say this is room 1A. Sorry, 1A, enter. And you're giving it a description, which would be our core. You now have that little label and you can place it wherever you like. And what you can do with this one is you can already go in there and change that to, I don't know, let's make it Aztec Empire. Let's make the font size 60, so it's a little bit bigger. I can change, let's make the text color white and the background color black. So now I have a little label here. And since it has I can do whatever I like in here. So I could say this is my tower core. And now it would be labeled like that. I prefer to do it like that because then I know I could technically show the labels to my players and they do not know what this is about. But what you can do is if you want to add a legend here, I can create a text. Let's just put a text here. Select that. And I can say collect all text map decorations. So those are the map decorations that I had here. Let's get rid of that. Or I could collect all room names. And here you can see he's already collecting the 1A tower core. So all I need to do is I should have named my other rooms, but I can go in there and now format that to a way that I like it. So I could go in like this. So this is the label feature, and this has been brought to you in one of the, I think even in March, in early March, in one, I think 5.51 was where we released the text tool. A little outlook on what's coming. I'm not sure if it's going to be next week or the week after, but we have been working with Symbolicon and Fonticon, the Kickstarter campaign, to bring a font, like a symbol library to you. I know that there has been made a lot of progress on their end and on our end, so there's soon going to be a symbol library that you can use to decorate your maps with font symbols. And I'm not going to spoil it because I'm so bad with keeping secrets. But for quite some time we've been working on a secret little new feature, and if everything goes as planned, it will be released this week. I really hope it is. We're in the final testings. We're almost finished. And it's going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be absolutely, absolutely amazing. So keep an eye out for our announcements. There might be another big one this week. When it comes to Project Deus, we have received a lot of feedback. And since we are now in the process of working with the self-updater, I'm going to do a little segment in our weekly community streams where we talk about what's going on just briefly, and then we will summarize everything at the end stream. At the end of every month, we're doing one big stream about Project Days that is called Mapping It Out. And there we will then collect all the things and talk about the process in more detail. So just briefly, we are about to finish our first little system patch that is mainly going to tackle like feedback that you've sent, that is to user input, like the left and right control, command, shift, alt keys that they're working to the left and to the right. We've been reported, we have received reports that the GPU usage is too high, so we have tackled that. It's not going to be a major, like you probably are not going to experience a lot of changes in there. It's more like we are now ironing out things that your feedback and your testing from the first week reported back to us. And if everything goes as planned, this is also going to be released this week, most likely on Thursday, maybe on Friday. Right, let's see what people are writing in the chat. Trashloot asks, are those cross lines outside the wall you used on the black and white map Dungeon Fog? Was this a custom texture? Oh, no, that was a trick. So I think you're talking about... You're talking about this one? Oh no, you're talking about the Dyson Logos style texture. This is a custom texture at the moment because I want to first reach out to Dyson Logos and ask him if he's fine if we're going to implement that in Dungeon Fog. So I was playing around with that internally, but this will find its way hopefully to you soon soon as I have spoken to Dyson and kind of got his approval, because I don't want to feel like we're ripping his style off without even talking to him. The cross-hatch texture. What a terrible word for a German. The dungeon tube. You meant the GM nodes. So the GM nodes is, I'm not sure if I can show it properly. Let me save the map quickly. The GM nodes tool is this one here, where you switch to GM nodes and you take the stuff, place it there, and you get descriptions of everything. Like, for example, let me place a little room here, and you have the unnamed room and the summary and the description of all of that. This is exactly what I was talking about. This needs to be reworked. I don't like the user interface. I don't like the usability on that. I think we can do so much better. And Bodhi and Andy, so Bodhi is our user interface designer and user experience master. They have already started talking about the concepts. And I feel like even after the Easter season, they will start working on that. I have no estimates yet on how much this takes, how long this takes, but it is the next thing on our roadmap and is the next thing that we're going to tackle. And from what I know already, it's going to be a complete overhaul to make it really usable for you and really easy to use, and also add some tits and bits that you have feedback to us over the past year, where we know that there are changes that you would like to see also for the campaign manager and the player view, GM's view sections. So keep an eye out for that. This is something that we will be working next. And then our GM nodes will get a proper update. And I hope that by then you will love them and use them and share your feedback with us. I agree. It should be an amazing feature, but it never got the attention that it should have got. And because of the polling that we did last year, where we asked, do you want us to work on that? And everyone said, no, 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 do this, do that. I decided this year that I'm going to lock this feature. So it wasn't something that I put out for a debate. I said it has to be done and it needs to be done. So you had the option to vote on other features, but this one is like my priority to say, okay, this is coming next. Yes, guys, are there any more questions? If not, don't forget the contest for Master of the Tools is going to end tomorrow. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is a little contest where we ask you to show us how cool to what extent can you use the features. How much of a master of our tools are you? And the winner will be picked by a jury that consists of Guy Sklenders from How to Be a Great GM. He's going to judge the submissions based on his Game Master experience. Janet Forbes from World Anvil is going to judge the maps based on her storytelling experience. Tony Trauner, our artist from DGNFOG, who did all the amazing DGNFOG prop packs, is going to judge the artistic approach, and I'm going to judge the technical approach on how did you use the tools, how did you master them, what tricks did you use to surprise us. This jury will pick the winner, and I assume that the winner announcement or the winner celebration will be somewhere around mid to end of April, where the winner will then sit down with us and create a map pack based on your recommendations. So you're naming the thing. You're saying, okay, I want, I don't know, whatever you want. If you're coming with Bodie McBoatface, I will probably intervene and I will say, well, you can have one Bodie McBoatface prop, but let's make a general theme out of that. But apart from that, you're naming the theme, you're naming the props, you're working with the artist, you're working with me and the artist on the review, and we will bring this as a monthly prop pack to the whole community the second it is finished. Varlbygem asks, are there any videos available showing basic functionalities? Yes, there are. Which reminds me, you can go to YouTube, and on our YouTube channel you will find the playlist tutorials, and there you have all the basic features covered by our lovely friend Guy Sklenders, who's doing the voiceover and the explanation of the tools. Also, if you sign into DGNFOG, don't forget that we have, let me quickly show that to you, because I feel like it is a little bit underappreciated. We have a help desk, and on the help desk you can find a lot of things. You can find beginner guides, how-tos on how to create something. You can find all the Deus related information. You can find all our community information. You have stuff for troubleshooting, and we've just recently, by the way, this is why I remembered this, we have updated the battlemap performance to show you, to give you some more understanding on the map recommendations and what DGNFOG is capable of doing. It's still in progress. It's just learning from your feedback and kind of narrowing it down to where we want to be. But if you're seeing this for the first time, please check out our help desk. There are so many articles, and thank you as always, Lasses, for helping me to fill those help desk articles. In regards to the room templates and the color grading options, those articles are already in progress. So I would say by the end of this week or next week, we will have updated our help desk with all those new things, and Guy will definitely do a tutorial on those as well. We will just need to check when he has time, because he is a very busy man. All right, let's quickly check the chat if we have more questions. Damien, question: what is your favorite color and why did you kill Dungeon Fog yellow? So, my wife always laughs at me because when I was back in school, we had to wear school uniform. And the colors were dark blue and light blue. And I never got away from them. So as a graphic designer, I was terrible because all my graphic designs tended to go into blue. For Dungeon Fog, the highest I could get was to go into the inverted color of blue, which is the orange. And when Bodhi then came and introduced the Dungeon Fog blue, I was like, oh yeah, I love it. Let's go to blue. And so we're back to blue, and my wife will never stop laughing about me. I had another question there, and that is, will we be able to export them as journal entries in Foundry? I hope so. I think so. I mean, we have started with the Foundry integration. We have collected a lot of feedback on the Foundry integration that we already have. So for those of you who do not know, there is a Foundry plugin that is called Universal VTT Importer. And we have an export format that supports this. So you can grab your maps, export them, and bring them to Foundry just through the importer. And we have two things on the list that we want to tackle next. The one is we need to find out if and how we can make tokens that you place on the map be accessible on Foundry. And the second thing, I can't remember right now, but I think now that we're working with Foundry integration, it makes sense to make the journal entries also accessible in Foundry. So yes, just keep waiting for it. But the second we tackle the GM nodes, or we finished with the GM nodes, we will also pay attention to this. Lars is spamming us with links here. Are there any more questions from the chat? I don't think so. We're getting to the end of the hour, so perfect timing as always. I have planned that exactly like that. Keep an eye out. It's still an announcement week, so there's still stuff coming. Keep an eye on your self-updater on Deus. It might ping and say there's a new update available. And with that said, I hope I will see you this Thursday, when I will be doing my regular Welcome to the Madness stream, and I think I will be continuing working on the Fane of the Night Serpent map that I'm building for my office game. But we will see, maybe I come across something else that I want to work. I don't know. It's me building maps for the office game. And if you want to hang out with me, chat with me, and ask for some advice while I'm doing my maps, I would be more than happy to welcome you there. There's rolling in another question. I can't seem to be getting the feature that lets you number your rooms to work. The place where it puts in does not seem to be there. Is this a problem with the feature, or is it my error? The feature that lets you number your rooms. Okay, let's just quickly, before I end the stream, because I think that is very easy to help you with. Let me just redo it for you, and if you have your software open, you might follow along. So when you're creating a room, let's just create a room here. When you're creating a room and you select the room, you have a label option at the top. I'm going to name this SquarePants, and you press enter, and it will then apply this. And if you're giving it an internal name, which is terribly trapped room, this is only for you. You always need to press enter to confirm that, and then you should get all those options. If you're still having problems with that, if even after I'm showing you this is not working on your end, write us a ticket, go to our Discord, join our Discord. Our community is more than happy to help you there. If you feel like this is a technical glitch or this is a problem with your online editor version, then write us to support@dungeonfog.com, and someone from the support staff will take the ticket and will work with you directly. There you go. Guys, it was a pleasure. I had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to see you on Thursday when we're doing our map stream. And to all of you, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy map making. Thank you. Bye.